Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo and I am here on Wednesday for a brand new show. The vote is in, the poll is complete, and I have selected Mushoku Tensei as the next thing that we will watch. This is Mushoku Tensei, or Jobless Reincarnation. I will seriously try if I go to another world, and that tells us a lot about the story right from the get-go. I haven't watched an isekai in a long time. I think the last one that I watched was Rising of the Shield Hero, which had its own whole set of things that were definitely problems with it. And was okay, I thought, at best. Hopefully this will be something new and interesting and a breath of fresh air into a tried and true and maybe over-tried and under-true form of storytelling in the power fulfillment fantasy genre that is isekai most of the time. The I will seriously try if I go to another world indicates something that I know about the story, and one of the few things that I know about the story, which is that our isekai protagonist guy is going to be a shitty person. I don't know exactly what kind of shitty person, but someone who didn't try is the idea, and given a second chance, he will probably try. That's the title, right? This makes sense to me and seems like the foundations for a type of a redemption story, and we shall see if that redemption story gets told in a way that is compelling or interesting. I don't necessarily need it to be a redemption story, but it needs to be a good story, and this protagonist needs to be interesting. Partly because I know going into this, because of the way the comments have been and because of the way the discussions have been, that this show is highly polarizing and extremely divisive. So I want to say a few things out front here at the beginning. First off, I reserve the right to drop this show at any point if I feel like I want to. I don't know what I'm getting into here, and y'all might hate me for it, but I reserve the right to do it. There are some things that even I can't stomach. That said, I can stomach a lot, and I'm used to stomaching a lot, and I've been watching anime and media for a good long time. There's a lot that I can deal with, but there are some things that I do find just not fun to watch. So I will say from the outset, anyone who doesn't want to join me on this journey through Mushoku Tensei, either because of what you've read or heard or listened to or heard other YouTubers talk about or heard people on Twitter talk about this show, feel free to leave. Bye. I'm not trying to dismiss you or say get the fuck out or anything like that. I would be overjoyed if you would join me for this journey and we can experience this together and argue about it civilly together in the comments. But if you don't want to watch it, I'm not going to force you to watch it. Click away. Watch something else. Watch something different. There are lots of great things out there in the world. I'd personally recommend going and seeking out Dimension 20 and watching some of their actual play content. I fucking love that shit. I've been rewatching through A Starstruck Odyssey recently, and it's great. Go watch that. It's fantastic. If, however, you're down to watch this show, see what its merits are, and judge it on those and those alone, not on what you've heard from elsewhere, not on what you've read from elsewhere, but on what the show itself does, then please come and join me on this journey. I understand that this show is going to be divisive and potentially triggering politically, morally, ethically, and in potentially other ways. If you have severe issues with trauma around, I don't know exactly what to say here. I don't. I'm sorry, because I haven't seen the show and I don't know, and I've tried to avoid to the largest part that I can other people's opinions on this piece of media. Not that that's possible, given that I have a comment section. But avoiding YouTuber rundowns or Twitter threads or things like that is what I've done. So I don't know exactly what to trigger warning you here for. But if you know you're going to get triggered by the stuff in this show, you don't need to watch it. Okay? Okay. Once we've said that, I appreciate you listening to me say that. Let's say a couple of other things. First off, there's a comment section. I do not censor my comments. I do not let my mods censor my comments. Also, I know that there's one mod who's been deleting comments, and I need to have a talk with them and make sure that they don't do that anymore. I don't censor comments. I think that people can put out whatever the fuck they want into the world, and it is our responsibility as a community to either argue with them or endorse them or talk it through with them. Here's my rule. Those comments must be civil. If there's any name calling, if there's any flaming, if I see ganging up on people, I will step in. Otherwise, I'm going to leave the comments be, and y'all can have your cesspit of disgusting stuff, and I don't really care. But if it gets over the top or out of hand, and that's my prerogative to judge it, that's just the way that it is, I will delete your shit. Or more accurately, I won't delete your shit. I'll make fun of you. So I'm going to plan to do comment spotlights for Mushoku Tensei. Those might be here and there and might not be consistent in every episode, but I'm going to try to highlight at least a couple of comments at the beginning of every episode from the previous episode that I think are interesting. And I might highlight those that I think are deeply stupid. And if you're those, I will put your goddamn YouTube username up on my screen, and I will tell you and the entire audience that I think you're stupid, okay? So be careful when you comment, because if you comment some stupid shit, you're going to get called out. That's on both sides of the spectrum, politically, ethically, morally, whatever. I don't care, because I'm right in the middle, man. I'm right in the middle, and I will yell at you if you're fucking dumb. I hope that doesn't turn you off from commenting on the thing. Just think through what you're going to put down in that comment section. Couple of other things that I want to mention. Portrayal of uncomfortable content in media is not necessarily advocacy. Actions taken by a protagonist in media are not necessarily viewed or to be viewed as heroic actions or inspiring actions. If you can't wrap your head around that, then I don't know what you're doing here, because it's part and parcel to the simplicity of the thing. You can follow an evil character in an evil world doing evil things, and you can learn interesting stuff from it, and it doesn't necessarily have to glorify or advocate for the behaviors that evil character undertakes. It's one of the simplest things about media, and it's something that we have to recognize. In the same realm, there's the classic argument about violence in video games. Does violence in video games contribute to violence in real life? And the answer, by and large, is no. Does the portrayal of uncomfortable content or immoral action in a piece of media, even if that immoral action comes from a protagonist character or even a point of view character, is that necessarily advocacy? Is it necessarily evil? No. This is pretty simple and straightforward. Media isn't real. That said, there are boundaries, there are limits, and yes, media can advocate for evil things, and doing so can be evil. We will have to judge this show as we get to those pieces and those parts, and we'll judge them on the merits of what we think is going on. One of the things that gets constantly brought up is Monogatari. Monogatari is a series that's chock full of sexual content that definitely goes over the borderline of what many people will find offensive. If you look at Monogatari through an uncritical lens, it seems like a crazy ecchi fest, and it is. But if you look at it through a critical lens, it is all used for a purpose, always. Does that necessarily justify it? No, in some people's minds. In my mind, yes. Media and the portrayal of a story is more important to me than some ethereal idea of what is just or good or righteous in a story. I'd rather have an interesting story than an ethically sound one. Does that make sense? And part and parcel to that is an idea that I want to throw at you and for you to consider and think about as we move through this story, which is this. Do evil actions in the real world always get punished? We love stories, by and large, where the good guys who do good things get rewarded and the bad guys who do bad things get punished. Because that's how we wish the world worked. That's how we wish everything existed, right? It would be so great if our world was just. But my question for you is reality actually just? Do good people really get rewarded? Do evil people really get punished? Some of them do, but not all of them. And to consider or to think that this world, our real world, is truly just is foolish. By extension, I would say that to expect our media to portray activities like that in a way that is clear-cut and morally sound, a character does a bad thing and then is punished for it, that's very cathartic. It's very right in terms of media and narrative storytelling. It's the way our stories go. We crave it. We crave the idea that acting heroically will bring us great rewards. We crave the idea that acting unjustly will bring us punishments. We crave it. It's why it's the centerpiece of most global religions, is this punishment process that happens, by some greater power that's better at judging these things than we are. Because in the real world, there are shades of gray all across the spectrum. And in the real world, people with power don't get punished for their unjustness very frequently. So, is it reasonable for us to expect that media would demonstrate always and should demonstrate always the way things should be? Or is it possible for media to do something interesting by demonstrating people as they can really be, and the world as unjust as it can really be? Just something for you to think about. Okay, so, title, divisive politics, portrayal not equals advocacy. Media doesn't necessarily need to be just. I hope that covers a bunch of the problems that we're going to have moving through this. I don't know that it necessarily will, but we'll see. And keep it relatively civil in the comments, and I will make fun of you if you don't. Hopefully that keeps everything together. We'll see. I'm going to be using the Motbob MTBB versions of Mushoku Tensei because they should be good. They're from the BD rip, and that should be lovely. There will be, on each of these episodes, 2 types of reaction video, 2 versions. You will be able to find a picture-in-picture version with the video up in this corner area place. Those will be down in the description, linked on a couple of different sites. Go and grab them if you want them. Those are just for convenience and for you to be able to conveniently watch me with the video inset into the video. However, YouTube doesn't like me doing that, and so the YouTube video will be a timer-based full reaction. It will start at the beginning, and it will go to the end, and we will watch the OP, and we'll watch the whole fucking thing. And then at the end of that, we will discuss the whole fucking thing. If you want to sync up your own copy of these episodes with the timer-based version, you are more than welcome to do so. In fact, it's the way that I would prefer that you did it, because it's better in like every way, I think. You can minimize my ugly mug and just watch your video and just hear my commentary, or do whatever the hell else you want. Lots of people do both versions. I don't really mind, but yeah, the timer version's probably better, I think. After that, we will discuss the fuck out of the episode. I don't know what I'll discuss because I haven't seen the episode yet, but it probably will be a lot, especially for this first episode, because we're getting introduced to a world and an art style and characters and character designs and modes of movement and a directorial style, because the director doesn't have any previous directorial debuts, so we're going to get used to a new directorial style. And a style from a studio that I haven't seen any work from Studio Bind, and all of that should be interesting and good, and we'll discuss the fuck out of it, and that'll be great. Early access. There will be early access available via the Patreon. If you pay me $5 a month, you get a week's early access. I've been trying to get some of my shows 2 weeks ahead, and I will try to get this show as well 2 weeks ahead instead of 1. So hopefully that will be a good incentive for you to join the Patreon, where you can also get access to Discord and discuss things in a more smaller community, which is neat and interesting. And I think that's it. I think that's everything. Likes, comments, subscribes, all that jazz. That's the most shilling that I'm going to do, along with the Patreon stuff. Thank you so much to everybody who voted for and against this show. I know it's really divisive and really, I don't know, polarizing, but I think it's going to be interesting to at least see what's up with this piece of media and why it has made so many people so very, very happy and so very, very angry. So let's go ahead and turn our attention to Mushoku Tensei, Episode 1. I've got it up and ready to go. There will be 2 versions, picture-in-picture in the description, timer on YouTube, and a beep-beep timer to count you down. If you want to sync up, just get ready for the beep-beep timer. At the beep, and the green light is when the thing goes. So it'll go boop, 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 beep, and that's when you should push your button to be synced up perfectly with my video. Let's get into it. New show, new day. Beep-beep timer. Oh, okay, so we're starting with he's already gone. Oh, he's dying. All mid-30s. Super dead. Hit by a truck. Whoa, truck-kun! Of course. Oh, we're getting a mysterious being X. And a scream. Currently missing. Okay. Okay. What? Those are weird, weird words. So he's a full Hikikomori Nito. Who's that voice actor, by the way? La Took again. So he's gonna die. Yep. Let's see what this looks like. Okay. Of course. Seems like they're celebrating. Is that birth? You've never used them before. You're a baby boy. Oh, that's your dad. Like you're a baby. Man. Is her name Zenith? Because it's your baby. Oh. That's your mom, dude. No. Okay, so now he sees his baby hands. Eh. Ah. Okay, then. Oh, wow. Para raids, huh? Whoa, they are frosty. Ooh, they are going to... Yep. They're going to work on number 2, huh? God! Okay, so there it is. Oh, good. Oh, that is a fast child. Brrr. Yeah, no. Well, you've got a full man's brain inside your brain. No? All right. Lilia. God damn it. God damn it. Gross. Does she know? The child knows too much. She's suspicious. Oh, jeez. It's just I look into his eyes and I know. I know he's a monster. And he is. He's a monster. This is not a good person. I don't think you're in a world that has a Europe. Mm-hmm. This is the fantasy world. Of course. Oh. What the fuck? Oh. Ugh. Reincarnated again. Round 2. Head goes watermelon splat. Holy shit. Nah, just some Dane Bramage. Yeah, for real, you should leave him laying down and then stabilize his neck. Oh, right, he hasn't cried. Like, actually a spell? Or... I mean, this is just a mom thing, but she's actually going to cast a fucking spell, right? Yup. That would be immediately what he would think. I think the fighter married the cleric, bro. Hiringu. Nani? That's good. That's really good. The music kicking in, the flow of everything. I like them. Yep. You're in a fantasy land. It's no sick. All right. That could have been an OP transition. Okay, okay. Weird bird things that aren't bird. What? It's an ear squirrel. What the fuck? Oh, he is child now. No. No evil laughs, Rudius. Don't fucking trust you, dude. Probably some cool magic shit in there. Oh, don't get stuck in there. You gotta go around to the... No! Oh, he's stuck. Oh, good job. What else is in here? Oh, magic books. That's gonna be helpful. Both. I doubt that they... Yeah, I was about to say, I doubt they were books. Absolutely. Oh, cool transition. You are not supposed to understand that shit. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Okay, so you have a power level. Right. What if I'm weak? Right. But you've got two adventurers as parents, and you've got the mind of an adult, so... You might flood your house, bro. Looks like it kind of worked. Yeah. What a funny way to clean that up. That's great. That was a great sequence. I like that a lot. You just suck. You just suck, dude. You're new. He's gonna blow somebody up or some shit. Hmm. I like that. This flow of mana throughout the body idea. This is cool. But he's literally manifesting matter. He's not moving water. He's manifesting it. Oh, and he's out. And you look like you peed yourself. Oh, he didn't. He shouldn't be able to do that, should he? Good night. Good night, child. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't do it. That's interesting. Is he emotionally... Ploop, ploop. So many buckets. Oh. So he's just done foundations. I don't think it's this easy for everyone else, bro. Oh, and he's out of mana. Holy Millis. You just have to learn it. Huh? Okay, that makes sense. I'm 30 fucking years old. Oh, wow. Great. Healthy relationship. Good for them. Hmm. The little evil look. Hmm. There's the ego. Plop, plop, plop. There are some plants out there that are so drowned. There's a very dead bush out there that's just like, oh, stop it. He doesn't have force production. Oh, there's a garbage truck going by. Sorry. Oops. He threw it, though. He threw it, though. Oh, he's got movement. Boing! Sick. That was cute. That's great. Oh, and you're gonna run into... No, okay. I thought he was gonna run straight into his father, given the framing of that. Maybe hold off, buddy. Don't do something stupid. Whoa, 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 whoa. Do not sweep away all things. You need your house. Cool transition. Double cool transition. Whoa. Oops. There are monsters, they're just not here. Nice. Ora? Has he been learning magic? Oh. Yeah, what is that look? Is she proud or is she scared? Okay, she's proud. He's a wizard! Yay! That's what we need. Yeah, we haven't even taught him to read. There's some weird things going on here. Well. Okay, I was about to say, we'll see how this couple deals with their conflict. Make him a gish, yeah. Oh god. I don't know if it's good to fuck in front of the baby either. Alright, we got a magic tutor. Okay. Father is a knight. Who will we get? Uh. Konnichiwa. Mm-hmm. Okay. Hi, Roxy. Oh, no. Well, there it is. All right, got it. Pah! Yeah, shut up, child. Oh. No. Baby. That staff is pretty cool. He just threw water. He just threw water across the. You fucking what? Mm-hmm. And this just confirms what she thinks. Uh-huh, of course. How many of these has she been to? Ooh, he's ashamed. He doesn't want to be seen. Got it. Okay. Saint, King, Emperor, and God. Wow. What's going on, bro? Does he need to pee? Or is it that he already knows all this? Of course you do. Yeah. Everybody else needs them. Yeah. That was his first one, right? Watabaru. Bloop. Wow. She blew up a tree. Shit. I didn't realize it was that powerful. You fucking destroyed part of my garden, dude. Great facial. Oh, healing magic. Whoa, that's rad. Okay, that's rad as fuck. It also made it grow. Okay, so everybody's got a power graph. And she's... Yep. False modesty. Do you fake it? You should use the incantation. Right. You don't want to get found out. No. He's the worst. He's the worst. He didn't say the whole thing. You're not supposed to be able to do that. Or that just indicates that he's way more powerful than you. Yep. But now we'll have a jealousy dynamic. What did you accidentally destroy? Oh, shit. It wasn't Roxy. That's fun. I don't think so, dude. Wow, yeah. He hasn't talked to a person. In visual novels? God damn it! Please don't touch me. It worked! Fucking guy. Oh, no. Huh. Welcoming. So why is this child going and teaching magic instead of either being an adventure or being with a family or being in school or doing something else? There's obviously something going on there. She's never experienced this kind of welcome. This is interesting. Are we gonna end on a positive note? I think we are. And there's our opening. Cool. Okay. Is this the OP or the ED? Sounds like an OP. Okay. Master, next episode. Okay, hey, pretty solid first episode. Introduces us to the world, introduces us to the characters, at least most of them, or at least some of them. I'm sure that there are more. I know that I've seen the cover photos. They're like 4 like adventure-y typey people who will eventually join Rudy, probably. Does the truck coon without feeling too trite or overdone, puts us in the mindset of this character and demonstrates to us immediately that this guy kind of sucks. And I think that's something that we need to keep in mind as we move forward through the rest of the show. The guy kind of sucks. He's not a good person. And I think it's pretty obvious that that's the case. Not a good person in multiple directions, right? Multiple directions. Hikikomori, non-contributor to society, actively self-destructive, all of these things. Very interesting. The show looks good. It feels good. The music is solid. The pacing was solid. This episode didn't wow me or blow my socks off or anything like that, but it did a good job of establishing foundations. And I expect that, given that anime directors understand the 3-episode rule as well as any watchers, that in the next 2 episodes, things will start to speed up and heat up and get a little bit more interesting. I was kind of half expecting that when we got to this point in the episode and we have this casual happy moment, I was expecting something to go horribly wrong here, because that's the kind of thing that happens in this sort of story, is like an inciting incident that leads us on a need to leave. But I guess it's not entirely necessary. It's this welcomingness, this house that's full of warmth and light that we see here that's different and new to Rudy, I think. Like a dream, he says, like a dream that I'm actually living in. And that's part of the perspective, right? This is a free, open do-over, an extra chance, a chance to do everything again, and a chance to make just as many mistakes as before, right? Because a person like this could make a statement like that at the end. If I keep getting up when I fall down, if I keep trying really hard, if I keep doing blah, 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 then maybe somebody like me can make it in this world. But the opposite is true, too. If I don't give my all, if I don't focus up, if I don't take advantage of this chance, I can fall directly into where I was before. And I think it's easy to say that Rudius is more likely to do so because of his past. He has these years of non-experience, right? These years and years of being stuck in the same loop over and over for a long time. And that means he's got inertia. Even as he's starting this new world, he's got inertia. And that's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting because he can fail. He can absolutely fail. Interesting. Okay. Before we get too much deeper, I want to look up some voice actors. I want to look up Roxy and I want to look up Rudy, primarily as the things that I want to know. So let me see. Oh, okay. So there's Child Rudy, who is Yumi Uchiyama, but I'm actually looking for the voice of Rudy. Okay, there we go. It's Tomokazu Sugita. That's a name that I recognize. Who's he? Oh, he's Gintoki. Okay, he's Gintoki. And Joseph Joestar, of course. That's it. So yeah, he's Gintoki, Joseph Joestar, and many other people. And girl, Roxy. Roxy is... Oh, Fujiwara Chika. So she's Chika. In, okay. In Kaguya-sama. Cool. That's good to know. So those are my overall first impressions of the episode. Then, voice actors and stuff. Then, let's go through it. So we get our death sequence. The freezing of droplets reminds me significantly of Saga of Tanya. It tingles that portion of my brain. And I think the whole sequence of death is good. Hey, who's this guy? And there we go. And then, of course, oh, but she's got big old titties. So immediately, this is a 30-year-old virgin's brain in the body of a baby boy. I immediately see where our problem is coming from. In fact, our first problem of more than a couple of problems. He's not a baby boy. He can get away with it because he's a baby boy, but he's not one, right? He can get away with these things because he's not supposed to know better, but he does, or he should. Interesting. Is that immoral and unethical? Yeah, absolutely. Does it make sense? Yeah, absolutely. Do you know how much porn there is centered around the idea of like a second chance or like manipulating people by being an unsuspecting child? There's a lot. Is it ethical? Probably not. Does it exist? Yeah. Do people fantasize about it? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know where I fall on this. There's an inherent issue with it. Absolutely. But we've demonstrated very clearly, very straightforwardly, that Rudy, before he was Rudy, whoever he was before, was not a good person. There's nothing in this that makes me, that indicates to me that I'm supposed to look at Rudy's behavior as somehow acceptable. In fact, the show seems to be very clear about it not being. We'll see, because there isn't anything truly ecchi in this episode, except, I guess, the panty shot of Roxy. That's, like, the only thing. And that's like the most mild thing that could possibly be in anime. That's not to say that it's acceptable, or that the sexualization of characters in anime in that nature is acceptable, but as a way of demonstrating where Rudy's head is at, this guy is a perverted protagonist, 100%. And that's a classical archetype. Should it be? I don't know. Can we still tell an interesting story with it? Absolutely. Can we tell an interesting story around it, using it as a fulcrum for the story? Absolutely. We already are, right? The Lilia, the maid or housekeeper, whatever she is, she knows something's up. And already we've got tension around that, right? There's this problem of the potential for Rudy to be found out. Very interesting. And he's thinking about it actively too. This is somebody who's undercover, right? Who is actively lying about themselves throughout their life, who's actively playing a part. This is not a good person. We have to keep that in mind. And I don't think it's hard to keep in mind. I think if we keep that in mind, it makes all of the instances of weird shit that Rudy does in this episode, for lack of a better inclusive term, it makes all of those instances make perfect sense from the perspective of that character. That's exactly what that character would do in this circumstance. I don't see anything wrong with it being portrayed in media. I do see something wrong with Rudy doing it, but he doesn't necessarily. He's broken. He's wrong. And I'm not shifting blame on his brokenness to anybody else. It's clearly his fault. It's pretty interesting, though. Pretty interesting. I can see why even in this first episode, and I've heard that the real things that that people find distasteful come a little bit later. Even in this episode, I can see why particularly sensitive people, and that's not a jab, it's not intended to be, particularly sensitive people would see this and go, ew. And that's reasonable. I think it's reasonable. It doesn't disgust me, not really, because I'm pretty jaded to this kind of thing. I've got thick walls. And also, I guess thin walls. Like, I don't know. I've just actively read so many pieces of media that contain bad juju and bad things in them that I don't mind it being present here. Doesn't make me immediately want to throw out the baby with the bathwater. Okay, so we get some cuteness and we get some sex stuff, and they do the bang bang. He's a fucking pervert. We see him run around the place. Maybe it's because I'm young. This is him figuring everything out. Puts underwear on his head like a classic perv, and is checking out boobs and being awful. Lilia recognizes that something is wrong, and we get this explanation. He doesn't know any better. He's just a kid. We also get a feel for our interior spaces here. There's a filter over everything that makes everything look grainier than it is. This grain filter that's over everything. I don't know that I like it. I don't hate it, but it is over everything. You can actually see it as Rudy's face moves here. Here, let me go back a few frames. Here we go. Perfect. So Rudy's crawling around. Look at his face here. Hopefully because I'm recording the screen or the application, and then I have to re-render it. So maybe it'll lose some of the fidelity here. But there's this layer of modeling or stippling or something, texture. There's this textured layer on top. You can see it in his face, right? Around here, there's this texture. Then as his face moves, the texture stays in the same place and the face moves across it. This is a little bit weird. And this is over everything. It's over every frame that we've seen so far, I think, right? Like that textured frame, that layer is still over everything. It's, I think, meant to give everything this sort of a soft light feel where it's not quite as like hard colors on hard colors. You know, when you get shirts that are like a heather color, I mean, this one is a heather blue. It, instead of being a single solid color of blue, it's blue mottled with gray, and that produces a different textural effect. That kind of an idea. The same thing is going on here with the texture on the animation, and it looks good. I don't know if I hate it. I think that if I were to look at these scenes without it, everything would clash. Everything would layer improperly, and so it gives a consistency to everything. But it's interesting. It's just something to note. Okay, so moving through this sequence, first perversion, looking out through the poorly wrought glassy window, which is actually really cool as an element here, right? Medieval glass is really fucking hard to make, and so the idea of producing multiple small circles of glass is much of warpy, wavy glass, and then combining them together to create a window that will let in light makes perfect sense to me. You go and look at classical cathedrals, and there are reasons beyond just the like quality stained glass that they have so many little glass panes, and part of it is because it's nigh impossible without some great technological innovations and leaps to make glass windows that are actually flat and clear. It's pretty cool. So he wonders where he's at and doesn't know, of course, sees his pops going ham as fuck, and falls off a thing, leading us into the revelations around magic. I think this is well done. This works for me. And we will get, I'll do a spell to make the pain go away. And it does a really good job of indicating to us that this is the real shit. This is legit. These hyper bright lines glowing around her form. Everything else fading into darkness. This sort of grayscale pallor that we get on everything. It's pretty great. It's pretty great. And then the glow. And it's like, what? And the music here is really lovely. Comes in really lovely. And the flow of his hair, expressions on the face, all wonder and joy and intrigue. And this is lovely. It's good. It's good. This is good shit. Besides, if he gets hurt, you can just heal him. That's right. Mom and Dad are adventurers. This isn't Earth, it's another world, and we fly out to see the world beyond. And also squirrels that flap with their ears. What the fuck? Who let Pokemon into this world? Who let them in here? I want to catch it. I want to catch it. So we do some seasonal transitions, we move along, and we find the magic book. I'm going to mention something. Rudy being a child and doing childish stuff like this, jumping into the box and then and joyfully jumping out of the box. It's cool. It also, I think, contributes to the problem. Is Rudy a man or is Rudy a boy? Which is he? He gets joys from the joys of, like, adult joys, but he also gets joys from childishness, right? He really is getting another chance, isn't he? He's just getting it with the knowledge that he has. Huh. it makes things grayer than they need to be. It makes things grayer than they need to be around Rudy and whether he is child or is man. And that probably contributes to some of the weirdness that we feel about him. Interesting. Okay, cool books, reading books, just sort of skim through it, and ploop ploop, magic. This first instance of his own magic, this is rad. It's just cool looking, the way we set him into frame. I think we must have placed him in a three-dimensional thing, because we're like moving around him in these really fine bits. I don't know. I don't know how, I don't actually know how this moment is done. This part here. The way that we move the camera around him, and then this subtle like shift. Obviously it's a digital background. But I wonder how they placed Rudy digitally too, because this curve as we turn is really unique. And then this is clearly digital. It has to be. Maybe it's not. Maybe just the sparkles are. Bloop. And then this is all the 2D. Really interesting. I love this moment where he gets inside the whole blanket to run over and clean it up. Fucking cute. Lots of little cute bits of character animation that are characterization, that are things the character wouldn't do unless they were that character. Does that make sense? This moment is fucking cool too. He's figuring out magic. I don't know how magic works in this world, but Rudy is learning how magic works in this world, and we're seeing the visuals of it, and that's all we need to know. This is pretty effective. I like the way that he goes through and is like, magic works like this. Seems like a complex system. Seems like an intricate magic system. Partly because he's bringing in out-of-world knowledge about magic systems, and partly because doing that lets us know that we don't need to really worry about it that much, I don't think. And that's pretty great. I don't really need to learn a new magic system right now. I got too many inside my brain, and I'm coming up with new ones. I'm actively writing a magic system also. Fuck. Oh, I guess an adaptation of a magic system, because I'm just adapting 5e magic. Cool goopy shit. Yeah, for sure. And a cool frame as he comes out of this, and zoom and fire. Huh? Oop. Clunk plop. Very good. And of course the splash, and of course he's really pissed about this. This is another one of those moments that bridges the gap. Is this a child's emotion or an adult's emotion? I don't know. I don't know. So he just bloops water droplets into buckets for forever. Does some fun times with the family. I'm gonna mention this. I like this scene. I like this fairly desexualized literal sex scene. Literal on-screen sex scene between parents, loving young couple, and they fuck frequently. I have no qualms about this. Good shit. Sex is good? At least in that kind of a context. It's a good scene. All right, so we go through some mana cap stuff. This moment where he like rolls over and has all his fingers together is very Lelouch, very light Yagami, and that is an important point, right? There are a couple of shows that I'll put out on the table for you. It's like, hey, main character of this show's not a good person. Does evil things while knowing that they're evil. Justifies them improperly inside the context of their show. And all of that is presented to us as something for us to judge, right? Not for the show to come out and be like, hey, by the way, in case you're an idiot, this isn't good. I don't know. It's just, it reminds me of that. And that's right. So does this moment. I shouldn't discount the possibility that I'm unique. What if I'm special? And we see the monster inside this kid, or 30-year-old kid, whatever. I shouldn't discount the possibility that I'm unique. Ha ha ha! Right? That's great. He's got the possibility for the most massive ego possible. Because you have to have that if you're a complete and true degenerate, right? You gotta have something to hold on to. Classic archetypal neat hikikomori character who's like, yes, the world of mortals does not have any sway on me, for I am the best at visual novels. I am the king of eroge, right? Tons of characters like that. It's great. And it works here. It works here. Okay, so we see all the crushes that all the girls in town have on the pops, get the splashes of water, and then the accidental firing of the super duper ultra ball. Let's try the intermediate magic and accidentally blow the fuck out of my house. Oops. The most impressive things here are these spinning shots. These high movement shots, like through here, rotate around here, with perfect rotation on the background. These are not CG. I mean, the background might be digital, but that's not CG. That flows like a motherfucker. And we sync background and him to do full spin animation. That's pretty stellar now that I see it again. And of course, the droplet goes by and rain falls. And shit is crazy, and we get this face from her. It's like, nope, this is good. So, magic tutor acquired. She's condescending, but is a character. And here we get another problem. Probably middle school age. Looks like her bush hasn't grown in yet. Lowly, unsociable, sleepy-looking eyes. 3 traits that equal perfection. This is the kind of comment that you get on a 4chan post, right? This is the kind of thing that a middle-aged Hikinito would absolutely think about a child sorceress wizard girl. 100% believable. Ethical? No. Right? No. Believable? Yes. Is there a problem with this? Only if you think that having characters in anime who act according to their character, which could be negative and could be to the point of being evil, only if you think that that's a bad thing, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think this is utterly reasonable, as is him gawking at the panty shot. Is it for our titillation? I don't think so. Not yet. There's been no titillating behavior in this episode. None. There could have been, right? Let's go back a second. Really quick. Okay. I think it's your bedtime now, Rudy. We see this because Rudy sees this, right? I'm going to pose a question to you. You're going to show a human couple, young, attractive human couple, fucking in a scene. For a purpose. The purpose is to show their relationship. For the most part. And it's to show that Rudy's aware of this, right? For the most part. How do you shoot that scene? Where do you put the camera? And what do you look at? What do you examine in that scene? Pretty classic one in Western film is you run the cameras along the sides of the bodies of the characters and you use the man's body basically to squish the woman and prevent her breasts from showing. And you show everything else that you can. Pretty classic one. Or you show the whole thing from behind and you use the justification that showing a little bit of dude butt isn't the worst and you show as much sex as you can. What do? No. Is it sexual? Yes. Is it intentionally titillating? I don't think so. They could have done that differently. They really could have. Same with the panty shot. Could have been done much differently to be more sexual for us, the audience. And they didn't. It's sexual for Rudy, the character. This is less than Monogatari in many ways. So far. We'll see when it changes. And here's our scene. Wind blows up. Panties show on screen for a frame. Rudy freaks out, messes up his magic because of it. Always we are divorced from his perspective, except for the one frame where it's necessary for us to be in his perspective before we understand him, right? Where he waves his hands around and is like, big titties. This works for me. I don't have a problem with this. This is fine. Okay, the tree falling down gag is great. And the double falling down is great. I like Roxy as a character. I'm intrigued by her. Like, I guess I'm most intrigued by how she's surprised by kindness. It indicates something about her past and where she's come from. She seems like the kind of person who's had to work really hard to get where she is. But we'll see. I don't know. And he uses some arrow gay shit and gets flicked in the head, which sets up a relationship for us. Happy, fun times, and a speech from him. Maybe even a fool like me. could make a second chance in this new world. And absolutely he can. Will he? That's the question, and that's the tension, right? He's got powers. He's better than most people in this world from the outset, right? He's got two great advantages. He's got magical ability innate that's beyond that of most people, including a trained mage like Roxy. But he needs training, of course, and he's able to get it. He's got the time. And he's got the advantage of coming into this world as a full adult, as somebody who's lived a life before and to some extent knows what mistakes can be made. He also comes in with disadvantages. Again, he's lived a full life, and all of that life is still in him. He can make the same mistakes again. In fact, he will almost certainly make some of the same mistakes again. He's already doing so. That's interesting. It asks questions about environment, about society. Can somebody raised in a different environment change? Maybe. Can being exposed to a different environment change a person? A person who, given the, by his own description and given what we've seen of him, is not a good person. It's interesting. There's also an element here that I think people will bring up in order to probably defend Rudy, or at least the person that he was. Heh, you bet I am. And that's that this kid is alive, and we get this line, when he says, did those three make it out okay? And there are two other missing kids. He jumped in front of this truck to save people, right? And so I guess that's probably supposed to be an offset to his bad behavior, right? Does one act of great sacrifice at the end of a life overcome all of the acts of blah, blah, blah? And that's probably the reason that he ended up getting reincarnated, is because of this act that he's done. Does it justify it? I don't think so. I absolutely don't think so. But I do think it's a step. Does changing overcome previous behavior? No. But it is change, and it's better than continuing in the same vein. Will, by the end of this story, I feel like Rudy is redeemed as a person? I don't think so. Especially because he's going to go and he's going to make more mistakes. I don't think I'm going to see him redeemed. But I think I'm going to see a very interesting story of what happens, potentially, in a fictional world when somebody is given a second chance, and how they can make the most of that second chance, the temptations they might expect and receive and experience. And through that lens, maybe we can use that to evaluate our own choices and our own lives, because we only get one chance. Seeing somebody make choices a second time with the information of a first time that they failed in might be very valuable. And maybe there's going to be a lot to extrapolate from it. There's not a lot to extrapolate from this first episode. Again, it's got a lot of legwork to do with establishing this world and all the things and blah, blah, blah. But we've got room. We've got time. And so does Rudy, because he's just a little kid again. Cool. I like this first episode. I don't love it, nor do I hate it. There are things in it that are great, and there are things in it that are distasteful, and I'm able to take both in stride. Hopefully you've been able to take them in stride too. And we're going to wrap there, I think. Thanks so much for watching. Leave whatever thoughts you have down in the comments, but I will warn you once again to think them through before you post them. Otherwise, I will make fun of you publicly. I will shame you publicly, and be ready for it. But please don't let that prevent you from thinking those thoughts. Just think them through well, please. And I'd love to discuss this show with you more in the Discord. If you'd like access to it, that's $1 a month. If you'd like early access for this show, that's $5 a month, and is much, much, much appreciated. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me on this first step in the journey through Mushoku Tensei. We'll see how it unfolds as the story goes. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Those of you who are in the esteemed colleague tier, your shoutouts will be on the next videos. They won't be on this first one, because I didn't want to spoil myself on literally all of the shit about this world. So there we go. And that's gonna be it. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this went well. I'm sure that I've made mistakes in this, both in interpretation and potentially in the way that I've spoken about certain things. Feel free to call me out. Feel free to publicly shame me in the comments. It's totally fine, but do expect that I will attempt to argue for myself. So be careful. And that's it. That's it, everyone. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hopefully being civil in the comments and not being crazy. and I'll see you next week when we watch some more Mushoku Tensei. Peace.